Hey guys, Fighter here. In today's video, I'm gonna go over how I like to practice my aim. I have combined multiple trainings and warm-ups into my training routine that I think will help a lot of people improve their aim overall, not just in CSGO. If you're new to PC gaming, I really recommend you to search online on how to find your perfect sense. And if you think you have the perfect sense, we can jump straight into the training and the warm-ups. So first, I like to warm up. The way I like to warm up is I like to hop onto a B-hop server. And what that allows me to do is to warm up my wrists because I'm constantly moving the mouse from left to right. I think it's a great way to warm up, to be honest, because it's very calm and casual and it doesn't put a stress on me because I'm not able to hit like my shots or something if I'm warming up in that match, you know. So it's a great way to start, and also I think it's really fun. So I do recommend doing this for about 5-10 minutes. So after I'm done with that B-hop warm-up, I go into another warm-up. This map is linked in the description. You can do it as well. And what I like to do here is try get 180 turns headshot kills. This also warms up my wrist once again, and I spend about 2-3 minutes doing this, and I try to get 100 kills. Also note that when you are flicking with your wrist, you want to be as sharp as possible. This will help you warm up a lot faster than if you're just doing it slow. So do try replicate what I am doing in these clips. Another game mode that I'm playing is Rush. Bots run at you and you have to kill them as fast as you can without them getting too close. When they do get too close, your score resets to 0. And what I like to do here is to burst headshots and move each time I get a kill. This allows me to practice my movement and my aim at the same time, and also warm up, of course. I try to get 100 kills. If that is too hard for you to get, you can obviously lower the bots, or you can try get a bit less kills. Instead of trying to reach 100, you can try get 50 maybe. Once when you do get the 100 kills, then you move on to the next step, which is also part of the warm up. Once when you're finished with Rush, you can move on to Shuffle, which is also a good game mode that I like to do before during my warm-up. In here, what I like to do is I like to burst, spray, and one-tap the bots. And of course, I use my movement. I think this game mode is really helpful because it replicates a real game situations where you're behind something and you have to peek out to shoot at someone. So you can also use this as a training, but I just use it as a warm-up because I have, in my opinion, better ways of training. I usually try to get about 100 kills with pistols and AK, and once I'm done with that as well, then I move on to this thing called the challenge, and bots will appear on the screen, and I have to rely on my reflexes and my muscle memory to have my crosshair land each time on the enemy's bot as shown. Once when I know that I'm getting consistent with it, then I know that my aim is okay. I'm pretty warmed up. I can move on to a matchmaking game or a face-it game. However, of course, if you're beginner or your aim isn't as developed as mine, your aim will not look anything like this. So please, I know it's just a warm-up. I know you might already be thinking, oh, this looks easy, and then you go ahead and do it and it's extremely hard. Don't be disappointed. You're only learning, you're only training, so don't get discouraged just because something is not going the way you want. That's why you're here. You're here to improve your aim, and that's why I'm here to, of course, give you the trainings and warm-ups. Once when I'm finished with my warm-up, then I move on to the deathmatch, and either I do 10 minutes of it, jump into a matchmaking, or I just do training. If you are just going to be doing this training, I do recommend taking at least a couple of hours of a break so your muscles and all that in your hand can relax, because after a while your wrist will begin to hurt a little bit, and if this does happen, that's okay. This happens because obviously you're training your muscles and your muscle memories just are all being tensed together, so don't worry about it. That's normal, okay? Moving on to the actual training part, what I like to do in deathmatch is to spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and what I do is I get 50 kills with AK, headshots only, and what I do is I try tap. So I don't spray, I don't burst, I have to use one bullet from my AK to kill the opponent. And what that allows me to do is to stay calm all the time, which is something you need to develop when you're aiming. You need to always stay calm. And this is why we're going to do this practice thing. and train by doing the one taps to stay calm all the time, because in order for you to hit the one taps, you need to stay calm. So this training routine will help a lot. Then we move on to do the M4, and you do the same thing, except you have to hit 2 times in the head, because the M4 doesn't do over 100 damage, so you'll have to burst a little bit on the person's head. Then you do the same thing with the deagles, except do not spam with the deagle. Aim for the head. You have to be extremely precise with the deagle. And then lastly, to use any weapon you want, you can do random. So you can spray, you can headshot only, you can do one taps, you can do burst. It's up to you. But the last one, it's random. It's up to you, right? For each of these things that I have mentioned, you want to get at least 50 kills on each. So 50 kills with AK, 50 kills with M4, 50 kills with deagle, 50 kills with random, okay? Once when you do that, you want to hop on to a pistol only deathmatch and maybe get like 25 kills with a USP and 25 kills with a Glock, and that's 250 kills done. However, if that does seem like it's too much, or you don't have the time, or it might be too difficult, or it might be too long and you might be getting bored of this, or it just hurts too much or something, right? You can always lower it down. So instead of getting 50, try lower it down to 25. Instead of using M4 and the AK, you can just use one of them. So you can try get 50 kills only with AK, 50 kills with deagle, and only try get 100 kills, But what I have mentioned will definitely work and is probably the best way to do it. So unless it's too difficult, then change it ever so slightly, but I wouldn't recommend doing it though. Once when you are complete with that, you should take a few hours of a rest. Another training routine that I also like to do, because I don't always do the deathmatch, sometimes I switch it around. If you do get bored of deathmatch, you can do this. This will 100% help as well. It'll definitely improve your pre-firing, your reaction time, the crosshair placement, and it'll help you to focus on that specific area that you might be struggling with. For example, if you're struggling to do with flicks, speed aiming or something like that, something might come out the corner and you're really slow to aim on it and you miss, or you want to just improve that specific thing. I have this YPRAC map link in the description where you can focus on these specific areas. So here I went into the close reflex. You can play around with these modes. There's like many of them and you can try them out yourself. And what you do is you can see here the way I am focusing on my reflexes. And during the time when I was improving my aim and I was doing this training thing, I noticed that as soon as I see something come out the corner, now this took about 2 or 3 weeks until I finally started to get the hang of this. After 2 or 3 weeks, I noticed that if something just comes out a corner like that, I instantly react and I aim straight onto their head. Yes, sometimes I miss, sometimes I hit it. However, I don't even think about it and it just happens, And this map and these training things will help a lot, especially with your aim. You don't even think about it, you just instantly flick. You just have the confidence and then you just hit it. And now today, about 50% of the times when I do flick, it lands on the head, with one bullet. You get like 50% is quite a lot, Obviously, it's not 100%. I don't have cheats, and sometimes the player model can move ever so slightly, or, but if the bot or the person is stationary, about 80-90% of the times, if I flick on them, I will kill them straight away on their head, and it only happens due to the fact that I am doing these little training things in these workshop maps. I spend about 30 minutes to an hour working on these maps, I might do like 5 sets or something, I set like a target saying, okay, if my KD was 50, let's try beat that, and if I get below that, I have to redo it, so it doesn't count as like one successful round, I have to have 3 successful rounds. So for example, I need to get 51 KD and then 50 KD, and let's just say I got 49 KD, have to do it again, so then I have to get 50 KD again, so I can progress onto the next stage and maybe try do a different mode, that will improve your aim because you're forcing yourself to do good at a certain level. That's what you need to do in aiming, otherwise you'll just never improve with your aim. My next map that will help with your crosshair placement is another YPrac map, of course, linked in the description. They have multiple maps, all of it for free, you know, Mirage, Dust 2, Inferno, right, you name it. They have flashes, Molotovs, smokes, everything, right? It's a really good map, and I highly recommend it if you're someone that struggles with crosshair placement. One of the most important things in CSGO and in aiming is crosshair placement. If this is a tip, always aim headshot level. If you aim headshot level and they're on the same platform as you, doesn't matter if you're 5 kilometers away or 2 centimeters away, if you have it perfectly on the head level, on the x-axis all the time, you will always hit their head. Always. Unless, you know, you're a little bit off, then you obviously will miss. But if you have it all the time on their head, on the x-axis, you will always just hit the head. With what this map does, it helps you to understand that the head level is always equal. So if you're on the flat surface and you have your crosshair on headshot level, you will just hit their head. That's just simple, you know, unless they do some crazy thing that, you know, you can't hit them or something, or you react too slow. But once again, I spend an hour doing this. So if you can see me here, there's like a timer at the bottom, and if I try get 40 seconds, if I beat it by 39, you know, and again, it comes into the progress and challenging myself to always be getting that 30 seconds or 39 seconds, you know. And of course, this whole thing, like them 2 workshops that I have mentioned, they do both take 2 hours in total. But definitely after you do these warm-ups and trainings, do take a break. Honestly, don't go into game thinking that you will be a god, able to hit every single headshot, you know. Another tip I can give is don't aim at the floor. This is where the crosshair placement comes into play. If I'm looking at the floor and the person is right in front of me, it takes longer to flick at their head than it does for me to move my mouse a millimeter and then click. I'm gonna be a lot more accurate, and I'm gonna have better aim, and I'm gonna be a lot calmer as well. That's one of the biggest tips I can give you. I don't know why my friends I even tell them myself, and they still look at the floor. Like, why are you looking at the floor? He's not gonna be sleeping on the floor. He's never gonna be on the floor. So why are you aiming there in the first place? It's a lot harder to aim, you know. If you know that there's someone at a door, don't aim exactly on the edge of the door. Aim a tiny bit to the right, so that if they do come out and they go past your crosshair, you don't underreact. I don't know if that's a word, but let's just go with it, right? So then if you do have your crosshair that small bit to the right of the edge of the door, when they come out, they just perfectly line up into your crosshair, and all you do is just click. That's not hard. That is aim as well. Just because you're not flicking doesn't mean that you don't have aim. Do you know? This is called smooth aiming, and it's very important to try master it as best as you can. So I hope that really helps you guys to improve your aim. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask in the comments and I'll reply as soon as I can. All the maps are linked in the description, as I already mentioned. And thank you so much for watching.